Hey there, so in the last video we took a look at making the breast hooks for the Canoe. In this video we're going to go over how I made the seats. The first thing that I needed to do was I did make cardboard templates for both of the seats, which really helped me figure out what angles I needed on the ends of the seats. And here you can see me just doing very fine adjustments to that. The next thing was to cut the slots where the ribs were going to end up going, and after the fact I probably should have raised my blade up a little bit more to get a little bit more of a vertical cut, because the bottoms of them are angled pretty badly, but it still worked. And here you just see me breaking out that little piece that I didn't need. Once both sides were done, it was time for me to go ahead and test fit, and there was a lot of this going on. I took this out probably about 10 times each, which very minor adjustments in between putting it in and taking it out. Now, because I wanted a oak inlay on the seats as well, here you can see me using the floorboard template to figure out exactly where I wanted those inlays to be, and I'm just marking it out here. This would have been much easier to do if I had a router at the time, but because I didn't, I ended up doing this, which is just basically the saw blades on. I've got it set to a depth that I think I need, and then I just make a cut, slide it over a little bit, make another cut. Here's a view from the front of basically what I was doing, and as you can see, this board is not very straight at all. It does definitely have a pretty bad warp in it, which ended up causing me some trouble while I was doing this, because it just wasn't cutting as deep on one side as I needed it to. And because of that, I ended up having to do a lot of sanding. I sanded it, I used a chisel on some of it as well to be able to try to get this oak piece to inlay in there nicely. I wanted it as tight as I possibly could. Once I finally did get it to fit, I just simply glued it in place. And then came the sanding. I did not cut the board deep enough, and therefore I needed to take off quite a bit of the oak, and that took me quite a while. Here you see me using a sander, and then you see me using even an older sander, which this one actually ended up breaking on me, so I now have a brand new palm sander. And this just took a really long time for both of these seats. Then it was time for me to add a little bit of a brace to the front of the seat. In hindsight, I probably could have gotten away with not adding this. I don't think that it was 100% necessary with how thick of a seat that I have. However, the instructions called for it, mainly because they were using a smaller piece of wood for the seat, and so I decided to go ahead and add it anyway. The piece that I am screwing to that is actually glued and screwed to the chair itself. However, the bottom of this little piece that I have kind of tucked in my hand there is free floating, so it just kind of floats there, and if I sit on the seat and it needs it, it will go ahead and push down. And here I am finally getting the boat out on the grass. This was the first time that I actually had it out, and I'm putting in the back seat right now. And as you can see, that little brace drops down right onto the center keel. And if you watch it close enough, I'm sure that you'll be able to see that it does indeed drop a little bit. My thoughts when I was in this was that this boat was going to be extremely tippy. However, it turns out boats are much more tippy on grass than they are in the water. This is a very stable canoe when I'm in it. And now it's time for the front seat here. And this one was much tighter to get in just because it is kind of a tighter location. And as you can see on the ribs, there are actually slots already cut in them for the floorboards, and that will be coming up in the next video. So if you want to see that, make sure that you hit the thumbs up, hit that subscribe, make sure that you hit that bell as well so that you can get notified every time that I upload a video to this channel. Until next time, you have a good one.